Welcome to Mayor's Minute on castanet.net. I'm Dustin Godfrey, and once again, I'm joined by Mayor Andrew Jacobite. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start off this week by looking at the upcoming meeting on the Trio deal in Skaha Lake Marina and Skaha Lake Park. Last week there were about 700 people that showed up to voice their concerns or to voice their opinions about the deal. On top of that, there's also been quite a bit of engagement online. So, can you walk us through what kind of what the process is like for you and council going through all of that into the meeting coming up?
Well, we certainly heard from the community that the water park was an issue, and so we've been working with Trio. We planted the seed literally a year ago, so it's been a long process, but to take the water park off the table, and also to talk about commercialization of green space, so take that off the table. So those have been the two most contentious issues that the community has voiced. And what got presented last week at a public meeting was a summary of that. So there's a new settlement agreement and an enhanced marina agreement. So the water slides are off the table. There's no commercialization of green space. Any commercialization is identified as something on the water, and the boathouse concession area, it's very restricted. It has to go through a public process. If the public says they want something, then Trio's first chance to bid on it and operate it. And if not, there's no obligation to Trio at all. And there were some concerns also about the exclusivity zone, which is the beach and the foreshore. And more definition about that whole boathouse, and I think Trio heard that, and they've actually came to the city and said, "Hey, we can reduce that exclusivity zone on the beach and put a little bit more definition around the diagram of what the boathouse and concession amenity would be, because that was also sort of a common theme." So at the special council meeting on Thursday night, council will have to look at whether we accept the settlement agreement and the new marina agreement, whether we reject that, whether we instruct staff to renegotiate, or we just leave it the status quo and the original agreements still stay active.
Sure. And looking ahead to next week's meeting, dispensaries are back on the bill, 7 of them to be exact. We've heard that other cities have a higher per capita density of dispensaries than even 7 would bring Penticton to, if that makes sense. But are other cities really the kind of the measure for this, or are there other factors that the city is going to, or that council is going to be considering when it comes to deciding how many dispensaries the city really needs?
Well, next week is the first chance to really talk about it. It's temporary use permits is what's being proposed, so the community has a chance to voice their ideas or concerns as well. And a temporary use permit, there is a bunch of restrictions around them in terms of no visible signs of marijuana from the outsides looking in, no consumption or smoking on site, 21-year minimum. Criminal record check for the last 10 years, no drug offenses for anyone working there, 2 staff security plan, ventilation, like a bunch of things. And I think one of the issues is also the siting of their location. And we had talked about whether you want them downtown or whether you want them clustered together. If they are downtown, should they be on the prominent streets or not on the prominent streets? And that's really next week's the first chance to really have that discussion. I think everyone understands the benefits of medical marijuana. Might be a bit more of a debate on the recreational and what other communities are doing, and what the federal government has hinted they're doing but haven't done yet is making it an interesting topic for discussion for sure.
Sure. And I mean, a few months ago there was speculation that shops that did continue to operate despite the city stripping them of their business licenses would create, or maybe mean less leniency when it came to making the decision on who gets a license or who doesn't. At least one of the owners of one of those shops has confirmed that he has now paid off his fines. So do you think that there will be more leniency, or will paying off the fines be kind of a sign of goodwill?
Well, you have to be a member of good standing and have a valid business license as well, so that's part of the process of people paying up their fines. But in fairness, there are some people who, when they first went to council and council revoked their business license, they ceased operations, so that there should be some credit for that. There's others who've been waiting for this to actually formally come to the table for discussion, for them to put their bid in, so that's why there's 3 new temporary use permit requests that we hadn't saw earlier this fall. And whether we, I guess it all boils down to what's the comfort level with in terms of how many dispensaries we have, their location. They are temporary use permits because the federal government hasn't officially signaled what they're going to do. There still is the pharmacy industry who is saying, we're probably the best industry to help dispense medical marijuana or marijuana and ensure the stability or the integrity of where it's grown and all those sorts of things. So there's a lot of moving pieces on it. It is something that the federal government is saying they're going to deregulate. So it is the city trying to get in front of this and create some regulations or some zoning to help control or better define what we're willing to tolerate or allow. And Tuesday will be the first opportunity to have that debate, and whether we approve these temporary permits or we need to massage them a bit more. I guess because the community has a chance to voice a concern or idea, we'll have to weigh that out and decide how to move forward.
Sure. And that's been this week's edition of Mayor's Minute on Castanet.net. I'm Dustin Godfrey, once again joined by Mayor Andrew Jacobite.